Hello and welcome back to Unreal Enhanced Edition. Like I mentioned the last time, I will be going through the Unreal Enhanced Edition maps, giving a little bit more background details about what went where and what was changed, because most of the things are quite subtle, and you probably didn't notice that in the main game. So let's start with Vortex Rikers, of course. Now, these force fields, they're new. They were created by the same person who did all of the particles here, Hellkeeper. So, good job there. Yeah. These beds, they were created, well, enhanced by me. By default, the beds had nothing but this brown texture, and that was pretty much it. I added a lot more things to make it look like it's an actual bed. And toilets I didn't change basically at all. The only thing I did was convert it to a static mesh and made them smooth, so that lighting falls nicer. Because it's already a pretty decent mesh, just for some reason converted into a brush. Oh, probably because they didn't want to make... oh. They wanted to have a good collision.
Prisoners 849 escaping.
Thank you, announcer. Yeah. So I put all those beds in every single cell, essentially the exact same way that they were put originally. And since they are now static meshes, they save you some computer resources, because they only need to be rendered once. Well, at least the Unreal Tournament 2004 ones do. Okay, what else? That's a nice touch. It's how it turns off just when you approach. Oh yeah. The blood here, it is added with a projector. Something new to Unreal 2.7.
Security breaches detected.
And what else? What else? Oh, another thing I did was align the textures here. I think this one texture was a little bit too big, and so it was cut off a little bit, so I made sure to align it. Yeah, another thing that I did here was to add EFX, environmental audio effects. However, since I'm forced to play this on my integrated sound card, you cannot hear the effects very well. They're there, but it's not very pronounced. Yeah. With my Sound Blaster X5, the effects are a lot more pronounced. Okay, what else? So, this place. I did a few modifications to this place. Namely, all of the lights now have coronas on them, so that they look more like they're on. I think these lights were aligned better. What else? Of course, I changed the console, like every other console in this level. The reason being, well, some people still like the old consoles. They were like, what, 5 polygons, and they were like CRT monitors. And basically, well, at the time when they created the game, I can understand that they thought that, well, CRT monitors, that's something very new and things. But of course, when looking from the perspective of these days, it's quite obvious that CRTs in a starship would be just stupid. Well, probably if I changed it into LCDs, it would have been also a good solution. But the thing is, if you go to the med bay, you could see very new panels there that monitor like people's health. And essentially I decided to make all of the consoles look basically like that. To have a kind of effect that there is a glass and there is something projected on that glass, and so it looks like that. The keyboards here that are encased in glass like that. Oh, oops, I pressed that. But yeah, that scene was also reworked by Hellkeeper to feature particles. Originally it didn't. Yeah, you can also see glass here when I pushed it, and it shows up pretty nicely. Yeah, so the glass encasing here, it was a suggestion by Ron Master Effects, and it turned out quite well. It's a pretty nice effect. Okay. Let's go back up and see what else I need to mention. Yeah, one thing that you don't see here is pathing support. Basically, paths are made for bots, and so in the future, when people make bot support for this, well, for co-op games, hopefully you will be able to have bots following you around the whole game and helping you out with all those fights with enemies. So yeah, you don't see it right here, but paths are there. They're not exactly that good, and wow. Well, here's proof that you can die in this first place.
Prisoner 849.
Actually, I think I will try and... Yeah, you cannot avoid the translator. Yeah, so the paths here are not exactly the best paths you could have. Basically because this level has some very difficult path areas. I will get to that a little bit later. Well, this place is quite okay. Bots do fairly well here. Although, well, I tested only with the creatures. I put a crow here and have it follow me around. Bots have better AI code and they follow you better, but I haven't figured out how to actually get working bots in the single player campaign, so... this scene, it's mostly original. The only thing that was added by Hellkeeper is sparks. These sparks. Still quite a nice effect. I thought about changing how this place looked like. It's well, you can see that shadows, for example, don't go well with this kind of fog. There are two types of fogs in Unreal 2.7. The classic fog that is created by placing a light and making it create this fog effect, and the other type of fog is distance fog. I thought about putting distance fog, but well, it wouldn't work out that well, so oh well.
You have entered a restricted area.
Yeah, the bridge. The bridge had quite a bit of an overhaul. Again, I replaced all of the CRT consoles with these quite new-looking consoles. Made this effect that it turns on when you approach it. This shows how things look like if you destroy a console, and shows you that like it's glass and there are things projected inside the glass, but since the computer is probably also broken, it projects just static. Same thing with that place, for example. Hellkeeper added a pretty nice effect with light swirling around the planet here. Pretty nice. Oh yeah, and if you pay attention, for example, if you go here, this panel is kind of reddish, and you can see the red light being reflected off that. Oh yeah, and this also was... that was sort of part of the original, actually, just it was never enabled. It was a radar and was supposed to break when something happened, but it was never defined what. So after a few discussions, we decided to make it so that when you touch that guy and he appears to be still alive, the panel breaks. And as you can see, particles by Hellkeeper. Okay, same thing here. You can very clearly see the red light that appears here. Yeah, another thing that was changed is the light map quality. You can see that, for example, there are quite sharp lines all the way around here. Don't mind the BSP hole. Things like that actually cannot be fixed all that well. Yeah. So the light map quality is a lot better now. For example, here it creates a very nice effect how this light is blocked by this part of geometry. Yeah, another thing I did was add coronas to basically all of the doors. Show you that, hey, it's on. It's like, if you look at the texture, it's supposed to be like that, like already. So I just added that for additional effect. Yeah, it's even here. I put those things everywhere I could. This part was changed slightly by Hellkeeper. That you can see a swirling effect of particles here. And when you press the button, it stops for a while. Oh yeah, and this place has a different zone, and so a different environmental effect than this. But you cannot really tell the difference because of my integrated sound card. Oh well. Also, I have no idea why they made this a different zone. That's was like that in the original, so yeah. What else? It's quite nice how even in the original they had things like that, where it's quite obvious how things turn out. Like that part of the metal just got cut from the main part, and well, it's still dangling. What a nice effect. Yeah, what else?
Security breaches.
Now here you can see that the shadow is quite nice. Yeah, this place I also changed. Originally, these blood parts were actually textures. However, with S3DC textures, there is a limitation where you cannot change textures that are animating. Well, procedurally animating. And these textures were made especially so that they are quite ripply. And since this surface here uses an S3TC texture, high quality one, when coupled with the low quality texture that is rippling, it produced a very poor effect. Very jarring. So I decided to just replace it. And here's the terminals I was talking about earlier. Like, these are in the original, so how come all the other terminals use some kind of strange CRTs, even though it's quite obvious that they have the technology to use panels like that? Arg. And these chips like here, they were originally with parts of that texture, like colored, but I decided not to do that and change them to simple glass, because, like I said, what I envision that is being done here is that a projection is made into the glass, and so if the glass is not where the projection is coming from, obviously nothing is going to be in it. So, yeah. I also added a lot of projectors here, and as you can see, the beds here are the same beds that were used in the first area. Basically, originally the beds used also texture-based blood instead of projector-based blood, because there were no projectors back then. And to save more resources and time, I put these beds, retextured them, and added projectors. Also, yeah, this was changed like in the other places, with light, with the fact that it turns on when you approach it, and of course the consoles are modern. Okay, what else? Yeah, this place was not changed all that much, I don't think. The light quality was a little improved, and I added a red light here so that it wouldn't crash. It's still like supposed to be green, but with this lighting it doesn't show as green, so I added a red light. Here I also added this light here. I decided not to... wait. Yeah, this light. I decided not to add a light here because otherwise it would seem as if you could go back. And at this point you cannot really see that because you're not supposed to have the distribution pistol, although you can take it here. You can do that, right? Yeah, you can. Well, whatever. Yeah, this terminal was also changed to comply with all the others. This is an original terminal, pretty much. I just switched the view, because originally all these things were not supposed to be red. The texture was way too low quality for it to be visible, so they just placed it whatever they wanted to, like didn't care about which way the thing was facing. And so I fixed it by swapping it so that with S3TC textures you could see the thing is written in something intelligible. And yes, you can destroy this, and you can see normal glass here, again, because it's just not... you cannot project anything on it when it's broken. And of course particles, courtesy of Helpkeeper. Okay, what else? I aligned this texture here. Originally it was not very aligned at all. It's somewhat problematic to align things when they're not perfectly on the X or on the Y axis, like here. But if you apply alignment to ceiling, you get something like that, which is fair enough, I would say. Again, particles by Helpkeeper. Yeah, also very much improved quality of light maps. You can see a very nice effect here, like this pillar is casting a shadow here. Right, what else? Yeah, this is a very good example of the improved quality of light. Before that, this was just a blob of light. After that, you can see that every hole creates a different light lit area, like you see here. And this flashy light also makes it very nice to see. So it's a pretty neat effect. Also made sure that after you get the dispersion pistol, you can shoot things. Too bad that glass by itself does not appear very well when it's broken. Also, if you destroy all of them, the light turns off, and now it's completely dark. It took a little bit of time to do, but it's a pretty nice effect. Improves the immersion. Yeah, this elevator here, that is the one that's giving me trouble with pathing. And the thing is, at least creatures have no idea how to get on it. And one of the problems with this elevator is that it starts off at the top instead of starting at the bottom, which is like what you'd expect. Another problem, and a pretty major one, that stops the boss from going on it, is that if you go here, you cannot climb on it. You have to go here. And if you climb here, there is a crate in the way. So you have to go around the crate in order to stand on the elevator. And then when you stand on the elevator, to exit, you also have to dodge that crate. And for boss, it's a very difficult thing to do. So yeah, that's pretty much one of the elevators that is extremely difficult to path. I did do some pathing, but at least creatures don't follow me very well on it. They generally don't like to follow me in this area for some reason. Like if you stand here, they will just walk around there and they don't get in time to go on the elevator. So it just moves without them. Oh well. Now again, you can see very improved light maps, and like this light is creating all the light, and you can see it being projected here. Quite nice. This security place I also changed so that you could destroy things. And of course, this is the place you need to break glass to open that thing. That was in the original. Hey. I changed a few textures here so that it would look better with, well, with this texture here, because it's a very special texture with things written on it. What else? Yeah, you can see a very nice shadow here too. One thing I noticed before that I wanted to say, if you go here, you can see that this place is supposed to lead to that, and it leads back to the bridge. So normally it would be a pretty nice shortcut to take. I guess it's something that could be done for co-op, I'm not sure. And this place, interestingly enough, well, it's not complete because normally people would not be able to see much in it, just that there is something in it, so I didn't change it pretty much at all. But the interesting part of going here is that there is this place.
Security breach.
It's a grate that goes to the ventilation shaft, and when you're here, you can also see that, hey, this leads us to the first area. This is a pretty interesting thing to note too. There is another grate somewhere around here. I don't remember where it is. Let me ghost around a little bit to see where it is. If I can find it. No, I can't find it at the moment. Well, whatever. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I did for this level. Let's get back walking. And yeah, I guess that will be enough for this review here. So see you all next time when I go through the changes of new level falls. So until then, see you all next time.